Hi there, welcome to McBoss Capital Channel. My name is Michael Chu. In this video, we're going to talk about the growth stocks list that I follow. Currently, it is for the week ending August 7th, 2026. So for the week, we went from market in correction to under pressure to confirm uptrend, basically improving like throughout the whole week, which is a very positive week for the market. IBD allocation is 60 to 80% at this moment. Accumulation is outweighing the distribution, so this is the number of stocks being accumulated versus distributed. Also, same as industry groups, is also outweighing accumulation against distribution. In terms of the sectors, they're all green this week, which is positive. This is net accumulation minus distribution, and so there's 27 more stocks under accumulation than distribution at this moment. So this is just a sample, right, of how the data looks like, and we can see health and industrial are quite strong. Technology come next, and then we have retail, and then we have financials and energy and commodity. On For the week, we're seeing the percent uptrend was highest on Tuesday, which was the follow through day, but it has gradually dropped back to 54%. What that means, this is 54% of all the stocks in uptrend right now. That is a significant, really good number. That's more than 1 in 2 stocks that are in uptrend right now. So there's lots of stocks to buy in general that's providing opportunity based on it is currently in uptrend. In terms of the top 100, we can see which area is dominating that list right now. Is 53 in technology, 8 in retail, industrial is 12, health is 10, commodities is 11, and financial is 6. So the rest are more or so like pretty even, with the exception of technology just leading the top 100 right now. So here's my growth stock list. Here's the symbol. This list is compiled since June 22nd. That is when we start recording this performance here. So you can see since that date what the performance looked like, whether it's an uptrend or downtrend at this moment, whether it hit a new high date right now, a new high recently, and then we can see whether it's even reported earnings here, and then industry group and sector here. So I color coded the sector here and the group so that it's easy to tell. Obviously, you can see here technology is dominating in the top here, so that is quite significant. And then, so as you scroll down, you also see like lots of stocks in uptrend right now. Like in the top 100, like majority of it is in uptrend. Also making new high right here. So those are really good signs. Then you can see that they're mostly reported earnings, so there's less risk going forward because you don't have to deal with the volatility from either gap down earnings or gap up, on earnings. But yeah, so that's good in that sense. As you go down again, we won't be able to cover. There's just too many stocks to even look at. There's just a lot of stocks in uptrend. I'm scrolling this really slowly. If you do want to go back and take a look at what's moving and so forth, but there's just a lot. And then as we come down to like, there's about 570 stocks around roughly. And then now we're starting to see more stocks in downtrend, which is below the 10-21 day moving average. So yeah, so as we scroll down, you see more and more downtrend stocks, and like really, it's just a lot of stocks to even look at. So my criteria to be on this list are pretty. They have to have 4 quarters of forward earnings of like at least usually 10% or roughly around that level. So yeah. So we'll try to focus on the top 100 stocks or so and just look at the different sectors. With technology being the strongest, we'll start with that. So I filter out the semiconductors and just focus on that. We have AXTI at the top here, SITM, doing really well, new high as well. AEHR, ENTG, those are the ones that are reported. Credo hasn't reported yet. We have Form here, and then we have DIOD, MTSI, SMTC, COHU, TSEM. We also have ALAB, AEIS, HIMX here doing well. INTC, Intel. Cover Intel in the main market video. We also cover ARM, AMD. We have LRCX here, RMBS. We also cover Broadcom and VGO in the main market video already. MCHP here. We also cover NVIDIA in the main market video. We have LSCC here doing well as well. ASML and TSM. TSM we also cover in the main market video. So yeah, feel free to follow the video before this. We talk about the mega caps, but here we're gonna look at some of the stocks here that are doing well in the semiconductor space. This is AXT Inc. AXTI is the symbol. Look at this jump above the big resistance red line here on Friday, gap up, and it never looked back. That's the real strength behind it. Here's SITM also bouncing strong on earnings also. Look at this jump above the red line, and then Friday it was able to fall through. It did close a little bit on the lower side of the range, but it still looks pretty good. Here's AEHR test systems. This one also bounced back above the the red line here and holding tight right now, so it could potentially make another move. Here's Integers, ENTG is the symbol, also bouncing strong this week. As you can see, it hold up on the red line here and then bounce off it on Friday, making new recent high. Here's DIOD's, DIOD symbol, also bouncing strong above the red line, 50-day moving average, coming back on the right side of the base. This is Form, it is currently holding above 10-21-day line, however, it's still below the red line, so we'll see if this can bounce through that. Here's MTSI, Macom Technology Solutions, also bouncing back above 21-day here, very strong. And then it kind of followed through on Friday as well. We're coming closer to the red line here. This is Semtech Corp, SMTC, also bouncing strong here towards the red line. It did find some resistance on Friday, closing in the bottom half of the range, but we'll see again if this can come through next week. Here's COHU, also bouncing back above the 10-21-day line, trading tightly right now near the recent high here. We did find resistance at the red line previously, so we'll see if it can work again this time. Here's Tower Semiconductor, also bouncing back above the red line. We did see 2 times here that it previously got rejected there, so we'll see if this also will fall through. The next area of strength in the technology group is computer software enterprise and all the software related area. We have RNG, PAYC, BLKB, and Palantir, which we cover in the main market video as well. Those has reported making new highs here. Then we have QTWO down here and ZETA also reported. We have PCOR here as well, making new high. And then there's some stocks here that hasn't reported yet. So then we come down here, we have MGNI, Microsoft, which we also cover in the main market video. Then we have SAP, Sharp, PHR, Way Now, APPF, and Net. All those have reported doing well, making new highs. We have, let's see here, ALKT reported. We also have TWLO reported. So those are doing pretty well, and Gen and DSGX as well, making new highs. This is Ring Central, moving up really strong, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th day here was down. Other than that, every other day was up. So this is a very strong stock right now, continue to make new highs. Here's Paycon Software. Look at this huge jump on earnings. Definitely look extended at this moment because the 10 days down here has some time to catch up here, needs some time to catch up. This is Black Bolt, BLKB, the symbol, also jumping really strong earnings right here. Then it starts to climb above the 10-day moving average, comes to the black line here, and holding pretty tight so far. It did reverse from Friday, so we'll see if it will bounce back up. This Q2 holdings in the financial area, this one also climbing nicely, finding support at the green line as it comes up, and we have cleared the black line, 200-day moving average, looking pretty good, holding tight this last few days. Next we have ZETA in doing also well. This one climb out and break out here above 25.95. We did pull back so far. Friday we found support at the low here and then bounce and close at the high. Here's Procore Technologies, PCOR. This one also bounced on earnings very nice. It has started to trade more tight here, finding support on Thursday here as well at the low, and Friday we gap up and look okay at the close. We are coming to the black line and we might find resistance there. We'll see what happens next. Here's MGNI McKnight here, bouncing strong. This one came out of the break new high here on earnings, and it followed through on Friday as well. It did close at the bottom of the range, but it's a little bit above the 10-day extended. So we'll see if we can find support and near the 10-day line. Here's SAP doing really well. Look at this, climbing above the black line here. Shopify also had a huge jump on earnings here, holding pretty tight here. And then it kind of followed through on Friday again on the bounce here. This Frisia in the medical software area, PHR. This one also jumped on earnings. No, earnings not come out yet, but it did jump nicely here near the black line here as well. This is another one. Waystar Holding here, medical area software, bouncing nicely here. Also near new recent high here. We have ServiceNow. This one also coming out near the black line, so we'll see if it can follow through next week. Appfolio also doing well here. APPF also bouncing above the 200-day moving average. It got tested here multiple times, and Friday it tried to clear. It looks pretty good. We have Cloudflare also reporting jumping to new high, but it did close at the bottom of the range. So we'll see if it finds support if it comes back down to 10-day. His Alchemy Technology ALKT also breaking out above the black line 200-day moving average. Found support on Thursday, followed through on Friday. His TWLO also break out on earnings here. Above new recent high and making new high up 24% on Friday. Here's SanDisk. I also report this week. However, it didn't do that well. It tried to come back on Friday and Thursday, but both days it really just didn't have much power. And Friday we're now back below here at the low range there. WDC Western Digital also down 45% from the top. This one also trading near the lows here, not doing well. Here's the retail sector. A lot of them hasn't reported yet. So, but the ones that have reported, we have Shot Ninja doing well here. We have Expedia doing well, ABNB, Wayfair, Booking, Cars. We have Cart here doing well, and CPS as well. And then as you scroll down here, there's more stocks in downtrend here. Here's Shot Ninja. It's already rising even before the earnings, and it just took another big jump here. And then it's been holding tight and making new highs still after that. This Expedia also been climbing recently. Again, it's very similar. It did fall on the earnings news a little bit, but so far it's been holding tight above the 10 days still. Here's ABNB jumping out really strong on earnings here. Pretty much jumped like 17% here on Friday. Wayfair also jumped on earnings pretty strong. It has pulled back. And Friday it did close at the bottom half, so might be more pullback to happen as the green line starting to come back up here. Here's Booking Holdings also doing well on earnings, jumping up on Wednesday here, and then falling through on Thursday and Friday, making new high. Here's Cars.com trading very volatile here. We have a down day on Thursday, pretty hard, and then Friday we're able to come back up on the earnings here. It did close at the bottom range, but overall still above the 10-day. Here's Cart, Maple Bear, also jumping out on earnings, making to new high. Here are the industrial sector. This is also a pretty big group here. Lots of stocks in uptrend as well. So however, on Friday, many of them did not close at a new recent high, so that's the only problem. So at the top here, we have Cohere that hasn't been reported yet, and then we have IESC reported. We have FA reported making new high. FDS also reported. You have EXLS, TTMI, KFR, CTRI also reported here. In uptrend right now, we have KTOS, GLW, ATI, and ROAD also reported. HRI. Then we have KRMN, PAYX, ETN, ROPE, MET, MTD, AWI, and so forth. Feel free to check out the rest of the stocks there that are still that are making new highs. Some of this here as well. Here's IESC, IES Holdings here in the heavy construction area. This one has climbed out nicely after the earnings and holding pretty tight, slightly down on Friday, but it still looked pretty good above the 10-day. Here's First Advantage Corp bouncing really strong on earnings on Thursday, and then on Friday it made a new high before reversing slightly lower, down 0.4%. So it looks pretty good. Way above the 10-day, so it might come down more as the 10-day comes up. Here's FactSet Research System FDS. This one has been building a nice base here, breakout to new high, recent high, pull back, and then now it's slowly climbing the 10-day once again, closing strong on Friday here, up 4%. His Excel service holding EXLS also bouncing really strong on earnings here, come all the way above the 200-day moving average, and then it did slide down slightly here, just holding near the 200-day black line, and trying to come back out again. And Friday, it looks like it's doing not bad. This TTMI in electrical contract manufacturing, it's bouncing back since earnings slowly above now the 10-day and just sitting closely near the 21-day. Here's KFR, CK Force in the commercial service staffing, holding pretty tight here recently at the 21-day moving average pink line. And then from there, we're slowly trying to recover again above the 10-day line here. Friday it did have a good close, so we'll see if this momentum can continue. Here's TRI, Thomson Reuters, also got a little bit volatile after reporting earnings. It's still sitting above the 10-day at this moment, just sitting near it. So yeah. Here's Carmen Holdings KRMN. This one also was able to bounce here after the earnings, closing at the top of the range here, clearing the red line decisively now. It's looking pretty good. Next, we're going to look at the health sector. We have Halo at the top here reporting and also making new high in the biotech area. Neo also making new high. We also have Urgent, URGN, IOVA also making new high. TMO is making new high. LH is making new high. STE Systems Equipment making new high. Core making new high. And TWSD making new high. And as we go down, we have a smaller list here. Here's Halozyme Therapeutics, symbol HALO. This one jumps really strong on Friday here, up 20% to new high here. This is Neogenomics. This one also bounced on earnings right here. From there, we make new high and slowly climb above the 10-day. We test that on Thursday here once and was able to bounce on Friday, making new high. So that is very promising. Here with Urgen Pharma, URGN, this one also bounced on earnings really strong here, making new high, holding tight since then. Thursday, Friday, we're able to come back up. This is Iowans Biotherapeutics. This one also jumping really strong on earnings Thursday, coming out of this base. Friday, we're able to fall through and close near the middle range. Here's Thermo Fisher's. This one reported quite 2 weeks ago, more than 2 weeks ago, and jumped on this earnings. And then since then, it's been just riding along the green line here. However, Friday, it make a huge move coming out of this recent consolidation here. That looks pretty good. Here's LH LabQuad Holdings. This one also bouncing really strong off the 10-day multiple times, and now it is at new high once again. Here's Steris Place. ST is the symbol in the medical systems area. This one also had a tough day after the earnings. And then from there, we're able to bounce back intraday. And then on Friday, we fall through here, climbing above the black line. So it looks pretty good. Here's Sencora. This one is bouncing back from earnings as well. It went up Wednesday, Thursday, but Friday, it also went up slightly above the black line here before falling back down 1.4%. We'll see if it can come back. Here's TWSD Twist Bioscience here, bouncing really strong on earnings, coming straight up from the bottom. It only take a few days before it make new high here on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Continue that, making new high on 6% up on Friday. Here's the energy commodities area, and you can see all the stocks in uptrend, so doing pretty well. We have FET in the top here, oil and gas, AUGO in the mining area, ERO mining area. Then we have EGO also making new high in the mining area, GFI also mining area, XPro oil and gas area. We have WPM, FSM also in the mining area, Eris in the mining area, Rango also in the mining area, KGC also in the mining area, AGI as well, FNV, and then we have coal HCC coal stock here, Nexa in the mining, and yeah, really good strong showing right now with This is FET from energy technologies in the oil and gas machinery area. This one breaking out a new high on earnings, looking very sharp, and they followed through for a few more days, and then now it's pulling back really slightly, just 1.3% on Friday, way above the 10-day still. So we'll see if it finds support. It might provide some new entry point. Here's Aura Minerals AUGO. The gold has been pushing back nicely here, pulling up, and now this earnings propel it higher, and Thursday hold pretty tight here. On Friday we gap out once again, up 12%. Here's ERO copper, symbol ERO. This one also bouncing nicely. Here's the earnings. It jumped again on Thursday and Friday, climbing back on the right side of this base. Here's Eldorado Gold, also bouncing really nicely after earnings. Wednesday cleared the resistance at the 200-day moving average, and then Thursday hold tight, Friday make new high. This is X Pro here in the oil and gas field services. This one also bouncing nicely from the bottom slowly. Right now it's above the 1021 day, as it may come back up to the previous high here. Here's Wheaton Precious Metals bouncing really strong here. On earnings, it gap out on Friday as well. Here's Fortuna Mining Corp FSM. This one also clear a nice resistance line on this channel line. We draw all from the highs, and it cleared that on Wednesday clearly, and earnings also help in that sense. And Friday make new high as well. Here's more Aris Mining. Bouncing nicely also above the red line, and then clear the black line here, 200-day moving average on Friday. Here's Royal Gold. This one also bounced back on Wednesday after the earnings. Thursday continue. Friday gap up even more, 5%. We had the black line. We'll see how it reacts around that line. Here's Kinross Gold. Again, another gold stock that is moving nicely here. It came out earnings more than a week ago, but it didn't really react until this week, following the same trend as other stocks, making new high on Friday, up 7%. Here's Alamos Gold, also bouncing strong above the red line here. Here's Steel Dynamics STLD is the symbol. Here's the 10-day moving average, finding support here, and also right now bouncing also on Friday here, finding support. So we'll see where it head next. This is Warrior Metco. HCC is the symbol, clearing the red line here nicely here on Thursday. Friday fall through, making new high up 2%. Here's Nexa Resources and EXA. This one also bouncing after the earnings, finding support on Thursday near the red line. And then Friday it did reverse though after hitting a new intraday high. And the last sector we'll look at is the financials. There is a lot of downtrend in this group right now, which is not good. But there's still some in uptrend, but it's not as strong as it was a few weeks ago. So at the top here we have PAY, this is in uptrend, reported. We have WTW reported making new high in the insurance area. We have TPG also making new high here in the investment management. So there's quite a few investment management, AMI, ARES here. We have IVZ here in that same group, BX. We have BLK, EQH also in that group doing well. So yeah, so those are the main ones in this in the financial. Still a lot of stock in downtrend though recently. This is Paymentus Holdings, PAY symbol in the finance credit card payment area, jumping really strong here on earnings. It did pull back after that, so that is the negative part. But we're coming closer to the 10-day line, so we'll see what happens next if we can bounce here. We have Willie Towers Watson WTW in the insurance area. This one is trading nicely after the earnings, holding really tight on Friday. Actually move out a little bit closer towards the new high here. Here's Acadian Asset Management, AMI. This one bouncing really nicely after the earnings. It is pulling back very tight, so looks really good. If we can hold and bounce here, that might be a new entry point. Here's Aris Management Corp, ARES. This one also doing very similar, bounce on earnings, climb up just slightly above the previous high, but you got kind of pushed back down. And it's been trading mostly tightly here above the green line. So again, very similar. We'll see whether it will bounce from here. TPG Investment Management Group, this one also bouncing here after earnings. This is seeing some sort of resistance here, the black line, but we'll see if it can follow through eventually. Here's Invesco IVZ in the finance investment management. This is a really strong group right now. Bouncing above here, bouncing back on the earnings, making new recent high. And then it does pull back again, very slightly here only, so that's a good sign. Here's Blackstone, also in the finance investment management. This one's slowly grinding up here, finding support near the 10-day as well. This one is BlackRock, also in the same group. This one has been riding the 10-day recently, and right now it's trading very tight as well, looking good. Here's Equitable Holdings, also bouncing on earnings, holding pretty tight here, making higher lows, so that's a good sign. As you can see, there's lots of stocks that have done well since reporting. A lot of them making new highs, and software is definitely taking a lead right now. So, but other areas are not doing too bad, industrial and so forth, and energy and commodity. So it's a very wide rally. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, see you again.